Hello everyone, and welcome back to Everyday Husband Quotes, the channel for marriage advice, marriage entertainment, and everything else marriage. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel.
When we first met in 2013, 2014, that was literally the epitome of our relationship. The six of us, we would have dinners, we would have conversations where we kind of bounced different things off of each other. What was good in our relationship, what was bad in our relationship. We talked about some stuff that a lot of people may have felt uncomfortable, like if they were like new to the group, so to speak. And the goal of the show is still in that vein. Like the fact that you said that is still the goal. We have some friends that after the show is over, they do a group session, men and women, to talk about the show and what you learned, what you didn't learn. Would you do that? Did you hear what Kimmie said? How about would you do what Mel did? And that's like part of the goal. Part of the goal is to still have those conversations when the show goes off with your friends, with your husbands, with your spouses, in mixed groups to kind of get men opinion and women opinions. At the onset of Melody promoting the show, wanting to put it together, we weren't very close. We weren't super close.
Okay.
And to be fair, I think some of the things during the show experience has helped us kind of gain a better viewpoint of each other and how we can support each other and be there for each other now. And I really kind of take my hat off to the show for that, because we were at a point where it wasn't that we didn't like each other. We just kind of was two ships sailing in the night. She was kind of doing her thing and I was doing my thing. And so I can appreciate that at this juncture, to say that if I feel like I've seen something in Mel that I need to shoot her a text, like, how you doing? Like, you didn't look that great on this video. Are you okay? You look down. You okay? Then I take the initiative to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether there's a camera around or not, I want them to be in a good space, especially because of the cameras. Mel has a spirit about her in work or play, to me, that's feisty. You know, she handles her business at work, she handles her business at home, and she has like a bit of spark to her, regardless of how you come. She has a bit of spark to her. I think, and I say this almost in every interview, and I don't really know the word for it, but like, you know, when you have events or you do things and there's always a person that says, which one we bring, or I'm going to bring so-and-so, that's Mel. Like, that's Mel hands down. And that's one of the things that I've always liked about her. You don't have to say, what you bringing? And you're like, You know, she'll tell you, I'm going to do the potted meat, the green beans, the sweet potatoes. You're like, okay, like, have at it. And I don't know the word to call that, but people always ask this question. And I always want to say that because of her, because I think it's thoughtful. I think it's thoughtful when you're invited someplace to do that. And I believe she's reactive. I think she's reactive. I think Melody has hot buttons. Melody has buttons. And sometimes if you push a button, she's going to be reactive.
Kimmie, ambitious. Ooh, when I first met Kimmie out of them jobs, she was working. I was like, God damn, you got so many shows. Yes. So I would say very ambitious, pleasant, and I would say kind. Kimmie has done an excellent job. I used to tell her that all the time. She has done an excellent job with Jalen, like hands down. It don't take you long to be around him to see, you know, the mannerisms and how respectful he is. And that's because he's had Kimmie who's raised him up that way. So she's done a great job.
I left DC to come here when my son was 16 months old. And part of that was because I wanted to kind of stack the cards in his favor for success. And to that end, initially, I didn't have a lot of conversations with him about African-American males out here, because I kind of thought like I stacked the deck. And so like I was going to be like, okay. But early on when I dated Maurice, I want to say maybe 2012, Jalen actually got pulled over in front of our house. in front of our house on the street. He was walking and a police officer stopped him. The whole put your hands up, like the whole nine, lights flashing and everything. And that moment took Maurice and I by such surprise that we acknowledged I didn't think he was prepared. We didn't prepare him well enough for that particular moment in life. You know, he stuck his hands in his sweatshirt to get his driver's license out, and the police officers grabbed him and we're like, no, like, no. So I think he was ill prepared because I made this facade that once I moved here, I was setting him in a better position where you ain't got to have that conversation. So now we have it with Monster early.
Wow.
Yeah. We have it with Monster early, because we want all of our babies to come home. For me, as a single parent for so long, I just was very worried about making sure I raised a strong African-American male. I didn't want to raise a child that didn't want to go to work because they had a headache, or they didn't want to go to work because, I stayed out too late last night. If you stay out last night, you go to work this morning. You know what I'm saying? And so I think there are times when I can be controlling and hard on Jalen because I just know the stakes. You know what I mean? For our African-American men, out here is tough. It's tough. You can't be a middle-of-the-road guy. Like, you just can't be a middle-of-the-road guy.
Yeah.
And so those were just some of the things that we have differences on. I just kind of didn't want him to sit at home and figure it out. I literally felt like he's strong enough to go to work and figure out what he wanted to do as an entrepreneur. That's just how I believe in my core, at my core. And I'm okay with anybody who has a differencing of opinion. You do you, boo. I don't tell you how to raise your kids, and you don't tell me how to raise my kids.
That's right.
I'm just saying, that's just me at the end of the day. I think everybody can take a nugget from other people about, maybe try this or maybe try that. But at the end of the day, you are your children's parent. And as for me in my house, I don't think it's controlling to the point that I want an African-American male who's not lazy and sitting on the couch. And if I have to tell you not to be lazy and sit on the couch, then I'm going to tell you not to be lazy and sit on the couch until you get it figured out. You know what I'm saying?
Well, for me personally, I figure out ways to make everything happen. But it is a transition, but it's a transition I am embracing. I get a lot of people just saying, stay encouraged. I'm so proud of you. Way to, stand up for yourself and see your self-worth. I've been where you are. Like, I get all kinds of things from people. And I think that just really attests to the fact that being authentic and transparent in what has occurred in my life was the right thing to do. I have been a person who has been able to withstand a lot and do a lot from a very young age. So what I'm doing now is the same kind of work ethic and ability to multitask that I've been doing since elementary school to now doing that. So for example, I've been doing press all day. My kids are in the other part of my office. They've had lunch. They've been watching educational things on the television, on the computer, doing educational games and doing fun games. So my son is 8, so he's a lot younger, like you mentioned, Monster. But what I'm doing with him is really teaching him how to be okay with expressing himself, teaching him how to communicate and communicate effectively. When you get upset, there's still a way that you can communicate that doesn't come as, you doing a bunch of yelling or hitting your sisters or screaming. Those are the things that I'm really working with him on, but especially being okay with expressing, hey, I'm upset. I'm mad, I'm angry, I'm hurt. So definitely making sure that he's okay with expressing how he feels. I feel like my daughters, by way of me, they're seeing strength. They're seeing the real strength of a woman and what that looks like. Like, they saw me get all of them up this morning and bring them over here to this office with me because I had, you know what I mean? Because I had to, do press all day. And they see things like that regularly. So they are seeing and understanding what it's like to be able to be a true mompreneur. And they've also, of course, been witness to a lot of the things that were not so great in the marriage. Not everything, but some things, of course, the arguing, all the stuff that happens in between.
Absolutely.
And so they've seen that their mother chose self-love and self-worth and walked away from that and is still doing well. So my prayer is that they get older, if they choose to get married one day, that they know they never have to stay in a situation that is no longer benefiting them spiritually, emotionally, or any of that, because their mama took 4 kids and walked away.